So I got something super cool for you today on SciComm with Mel, and I'm actually kind of freaked out by it, but in like the best possible way. We're talking about zombie spiders, and get this, they're only found right here in Ireland. Adrian's been bouncing off the walls to tell us about this one.
Oh my God, yes, yes. This is like absolutely incredible stuff. You know what's really fascinating about this? It's not just that we've got zombies. Well, zombie spiders right here in Irish caves, but it's that we're the only place in the world where you can find them. And I've been diving deep into this research, and I can't wait to share all the details with everyone.
I have to say, you had me at zombie spiders. Like, how is this even real? But before we get into all the creepy details, what exactly are we dealing with here?
So basically, we're talking about this amazing fungus that literally takes over spiders and, changes their behavior completely. And the whole story of how it was discovered is it's absolutely mind-blowing.
Tell me more about how they actually found this thing. Because I'm guessing, someone had to be pretty brave to go looking for zombie spiders in caves.
Okay, so here's the really cool part. It was actually first discovered back in 2021, right, during the filming of BBC Winter Watch at this place called Castle Espy in County Down. And get this, they found it in an old explosive store of all places. Like, you can't make this stuff up.
Wait, an explosive store? That's, um, that's definitely not where I'd expect to find something like this.
I know, right. And the best part is that they named it after Sir David Attenborough. It's called Jebelula Attenboroughi, which is it's just perfect because, who better to name this incredible discovery after than the absolute legend of natural history himself?
So how did they actually confirm what they found was something new?
Okay, so what happened was this cave explorer, Tim Fogg, who's like really experienced in this field, he got super interested after seeing the Winter Watch program and he ended up sending some samples and photos to this leading expert, Dr. Harry Evans, who's based in Surrey. And that's when they realized that this was something totally unique, you know what I mean? Like, this was a completely new species that had never been documented anywhere else in the world before.
So, what exactly does this fungus do to the spiders? Like, how does it turn them into zombies?
Oh my goodness, this is where it gets really fascinating. So you know how spiders are usually like super reclusive, right? They love hiding in dark corners and staying in their webs? Well, this fungus completely changes all of that behavior.
What do you mean? Like, how does it change them?
Yeah, so what happens is, once the fungus infects them, it basically makes them do something totally unnatural. The spiders they completely abandon their safe spots, right? And they actually climb up to really exposed positions on the cave walls or even the roof. And here's the really wild part. That's where they stay until they die.
That's honestly terrifying. But why would the fungus make them do that?
You know what's incredible? This behavior isn't actually random at all. It's actually super similar to something we've seen before in the Amazon rainforest with ants. See, there's this other species of fungi that does basically the same thing to ants, and that's where the whole zombie thing first came from.
So, what's actually happening in their tiny spider brains to make them do this?
Right, so this is it's absolutely fascinating. The fungus actually produces these chemicals, right? Including dopamine. You know, the happy chemical in our brains? And what it does is it basically hijacks the spider's brain, making it prioritize the fungus's needs over its own survival. Like, it literally makes the spider choose to help spread the fungal spores instead of, staying alive.
That's both amazing and completely terrifying at the same time. So, what makes this discovery so special for Ireland specifically?
Oh my goodness, this is absolutely incredible, actually. The thing is, this particular fungus, the Jebelula attenboroughi, has literally only been found in Ireland, like nowhere else in the entire world. And that's just mind-blowing when you think about it.
Really? How did they figure that out?
So it all started with this cave explorer, Tim Fogg, right? After seeing the first ones in Castle Espy and Down, he just knew, he just had this feeling there had to be more. And he was totally right. He started finding them in these amazing locations, like, the White Father's Caves, right on the Fermanagh-Cavan border.
Have they found them anywhere else around the country?
Yes, absolutely. So they've actually confirmed finding them in caves in Leitrim and Sligo as well. But here's the thing. they're not exactly easy to spot. You know what I mean? Like the whole Irish caving community has been asked to keep an eye out for them, but they're really, really tricky to find.
What kind of places are they typically looking in?
That's actually super interesting because these fungi, they seem to really, really like man-made structures. So we're talking about places like, culverts and tunnels and old cellars. And what's fascinating is that they keep finding them in these really specific spots within these locations, like always on the walls or the roofs of these structures.
Sounds like there could be more out there that haven't been discovered yet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what makes this whole thing so exciting. Like we're probably just scratching the surface here, and who knows what else we might find as more people start looking for them, right?
So, what exactly happens inside these spiders when they're infected? Like, what's the science behind it?
Oh, this is absolutely fascinating. So you know how I mentioned they become zombie-like? Well, what's actually happening is the fungus is literally manipulating the spider's brain chemistry, and it does this through these incredible chemical processes that produce things like dopamine.
Dopamine? Isn't that like the happy chemical in our brains?
Exactly, exactly. And that's what makes this so mind-blowing. You see, the fungus actually produces these behavioral changing metabolites, right? And dopamine is one of them. Well, it's basically tricking the spider's brain into feeling good about doing things that'll help spread the fungal spores, even though it's literally walking to its death.
That's honestly kind of terrifying, but fascinating at the same time.
Oh, but here's where it gets even more interesting. Because these chemicals that the fungus produces, right, they're actually showing some really, really promising potential for medical applications. Like, and this is huge, they might even help us develop new cancer treatments.
Wait, seriously? How would that work?
So the thing is, these fungal metabolites are incredibly complex and unique compounds, right? And scientists are really excited because they've never seen anything quite like this before. The way these chemicals can influence behavior and cell processes is just, it's absolutely remarkable. And understanding how they work could potentially help us develop new therapeutic approaches, you know what I mean?
You know what's really interesting about all this? Um, it kind of reminds me of something from pop culture that's been huge lately.
Oh my gosh, yes, yes. You're thinking of The Last of Us, right? And it's actually really fascinating because this whole discovery has gotten so much more attention because of that show. Like, people are absolutely captivated by the parallel between our Irish zombie spiders and what they've seen on screen.
So there's actually some real similarities there.
Exactly. I mean, obviously not to the same extreme as the show, but the basic concept is remarkably similar. We've got this fungus that's changing behavior, taking control. And what's really cool is that the public interest in this research has just exploded because people can make that connection, right? They see this real-world example of fungal manipulation and they're like, well, it's just mind-blowing to them that something similar actually exists in nature, right here in Ireland.
That's a pretty amazing coincidence that this discovery happened around the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what's really interesting? It's actually helping scientists communicate their research to the public because people already have this frame of reference. Like they understand the basic concept now, even if our zombie spiders are way less dramatic than what happens in the show.
So, where do we go from here with all this research? Like, what's next for our Irish zombie spiders?
Well, there's actually so much more work to be done. The research team, they're really focused on understanding like exactly how this fungus manages to do what it does. And what's super exciting is that we might actually find some really valuable medical applications from studying these mechanisms, right?
That's actually incredible that something found in Irish caves could have such potential.
Exactly. And you know what makes this even more special? This is completely unique to Ireland. Like nowhere else in the world has this particular fungus been found, which just makes it such an important part of our natural heritage, right? And we really need to protect and study these cave systems because, well, who knows what other discoveries might be waiting for us down there.
Thank you so much for sharing this fascinating story with us today on SciComm with Mel. Until next time, keep exploring the incredible world of science.